Hey, YouTube, Major G, and the time has finally come. It is finally time. It's time for my list of top 15 best live action adaptations of anime and manga. This is going to be a long list. Got the 15, and then I've got a few more honorable mentions. Let's get on with this list. Now, in the history of live-action adaptations, and when it comes to anime and manga, in the West in particular, they've generally gotten a bad rap. Now, this has not always been the case. What happens a lot of the time is that Westerners, at least, will often just say, "Nope, Hollywood can't do it. They can't scratch it. They're just terrible at live action adaptations." However, what they don't realize is that in the history of Hollywood, there have only been four, mark that down, four big budget live action adaptations of an anime or manga. There are a few more that have been straight to DVD. However, in Japan and in some other places around the world, especially in Japan, live-action adaptations actually are done by major motion picture studios in that particular region. And they are a lot more common than people will realize. So when it comes to my personal list, there are going to be a few stipulations. Number one is that I am not going to be adding shoujo and or romance movies to my list. If that is going to be the sole premise, no matter the setting, if that's the sole premise is that it's a romance, I'm not going to be adding that to my list. And there's actually a very good reason for this. That's because in Japan in particular, there have been a number of shoujo or romance stories that have been adapted into live action movies. Sometimes they've been adapted into dramas, but they've also been adapted into movies. In fact, just this year alone, you've got You've got ReZero. It has a live action adaptation. Ishikan Friends, which I saw in Japan earlier this year, that was a live action adaptation of a manga. There is Peach Girl. That's just within the first half of this year. That's not even counting the rest of the year. That's just in a 3-month period. So there are a ton of shoujo and or romance live action adaptations. So I'm just going to be skipping that, just taking it off the board entirely when it comes in terms of my personal list, because I would be watching movies for years to come. Number two is that I'm going to only be listing one movie from each franchise. Now, of course, this is I think this is completely fair because most people generally do this when it comes to their top lists. Number three is that I'm only going to be focusing on theatrical films. So, theatrical standalone films. So, what tends to be the case, once again, in Japan is that you'll have a series, you'll have a drama series that then gets turned into a movie. Great Teacher Onizuka is a perfect example of this. In the original 1998 Great Teacher Onizuka live action series starring Takashi Soramachi. There was a series, and then there was a special, and then there was a full motion picture. And this picture and the movie was tied to the series. So these are going to be standalone movies, not adapted to or not part of a drama series. At least not a sequel of a drama, continuing part of a drama series. So GTO, Rookies, Gokusen. Those are three. Adaptations that have films, but the films are actually part of a series, a drama series. Also, that completely wipes out specials, as in TV specials, such as the Ranma movie. The Ranma movie is actually a TV special that leaves out the Detective Conan series. The Detective Conan movies. All the Detective Conan live-action movies have all been TV specials, or made-for-TV movies, basically. Number 4. So, number 4 to me is absolutely extremely important to me, and that is that they have to have been originally either a manga or an anime. Now, I'm also going to be excusing light novels, because light novels are essentially a manga-ish form, in that they do have pictures in the books, and they are kind of a manga-ish style. So what I've seen on a list, and I'm going to name one in particular that I've seen on one person's list, Naya Reviews, Battle Royale. Battle Royale was a novel. Battle Royale was originally a novel, and then it was turned into a movie. And about 3 to 6 months later, the first manga came out. So it was a movie before it was a manga. Another one is The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. The Girl Who Leapt Through Time does have a live-action adaptation. It does have an anime movie, but it was originally a novel. Also, there is a live-action Kiki's Delivery Service. Kiki's Delivery Service was a novel, so that's going to be out. And I believe that should be it in terms of my my stipulation. So those are going to be my 4 stipulations. Number 1, no shoujo and or romance. Number 2, 1 from each franchise. Number 3, only standalone movies, standalone and feature films, standalone and theatrical films. And number 4, has to originate from a manga or anime. Light or visual novels are also excused. All right, so with much ado, here we go. Let's go into our list. We're going to start off with the honorable mentions.
教えてやろうかパンサークロー。ある時は失踪するバイクレーサー、またある時は木更津の婦人警官、パンサークローの手下、そして宇津木博士の身代わり。しかしてその実態は愛の戦士キューティーハニーだ。化粧をしているな。天中上巻きのかまどを潰しているな。天中
私は校則に違反しているかな、真面目仮面。
Here we go with the honorable mentions. Now, let me just let you know, in my opinion, all of these were actually pretty interesting movies, but they just, for whatever reason, didn't really have the qualities to actually be fully on the list. Some were actually on and got pushed off, and others I just kind of liked it so much that I wanted there to be some kind of recognition for it. So here we go, in no particular order with our honorable mentions. 20th Century Boys. Kuroshitsuji. Sakake Otokujuku.
と五十五塾長下手島平八である。
宇宙戦艦ヤマト。
これがそうだ、ヤマトだ。ヤマト発進。
宇宙戦艦ヤマト発進。
ナナとカオル。and 宇宙兄弟。20th Century Boys, in particular, 20th Century Boys and Space Battleship Yamato, Uchu Senkan Yamato, were actually on my list originally, and they ended up getting pushed off because I actually saw something better. And I actually liked them. I really did like them. Same thing with Sakigake Otokojiku. I felt like these were actually pretty solid movies. There were just better ones out there. Now, Black Butler was very enjoyable. I loved that personally, more than I thought I would actually. So I mean, in case you got a case of me fanboying over this, it's really not, because I'm not really. I tried to read the manga and I wasn't a fan of the manga, but I did actually enjoy the movie. Nanato Kaoru. I really did like this movie. I thought it was very, very solid. Very solid movie. Very interesting. It is a little bit of a romance, but it's not really a romance. It's more, it's a shonen with ties to S&M. I felt like, from what I read of the first volume that I read of it, it was fairly accurate, and as a person who has been involved with the S&M scene in the past, it was actually pretty well done in terms of that relationship. So I actually did like that one. Uchu Kyodai was Uchu Kyodai, I feel it was the worst on this list. And I had a lot of problems with Uchi Kyodai as a single standalone film. But Uchi Kyodai as a manga is actually one of my favorite manga of all time. And I do feel they captured the heart of it, but the story was way too rushed. I feel like it would have been a lot better if they hadn't been afraid to split it up into 2 or 3 films. So that's my honorable mention list. 20th Century Boys, Kuroshitsuji, Sakigake Otokojuku, Uchu Senkan Yamato, Nanato Kaoru, and Uchu Kyodai. Now it's time for the actual list. Here we go.